Again, good morning. We are going to record it, and we just got the recording notice. Thank you, Shelby. And so, a couple things that we want to share. So, the first thing that we want to share is we wanted to get the group together like we did last year for those of you who did the event with us last year and kind of get us all on the same page, get us organized, and kind of get us comfortable with our way of work and updates to the way the location looks and all of those types of things. So I just want to start out. We have a few more projects this year than we did last year, I believe, projects. And so it's going to be a lot larger than it was last year and the year before that, which is awesome. We always like to see things like this expand to get information out to all of our teachers and our administrators across the state when it comes to school resources and things that are available to them. So, with that being said, we've had to find larger spaces to make sure that we can A, uh, handle all of the people coming through at one given time, and then B, handle all of the projects and agencies that will be there at the event. And so, just as we did last year, Shelby and I set up, and actually mostly Shelby, set up a Padlet with information so that we'll be able to share and kind of give you that information upfront as we get it and those types of things. We're also going to give you, and Shelby, please correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to give you times. We're holding office hours for the facilitators when it comes to tiered instructional strategies and asking questions once a week. And it's just drop in kind of office hours. We'll share that with this group as well. If you have questions about updates, hey, do you know this? Do you know that? Have you heard about this? We have a question about whatever as they arise so that you don't necessarily have to wait, or you can just email us. So either way, we just want to make ourselves available because we know that planning for this can take time. And then also with the way our fiscal agencies work, if we need to get copies of things and all of that, we want to give you enough leeway to get all of the supplies that you want to potentially share with people the expo. Okay. Um, so the first thing I'm going to do is we're all, oh, let me also point this out. In the in the live binder, we're also going to put some of the hotel information of hotels that are close by that you can see if you can get a space at. I know that my understanding is that there's a block at least in, I think that's the information that we're sharing with you, a room block kind of situation, so that you do get space that's in that area where the majority of us will be when we're there. So with the north location, and I'll just kind of start at the north location because that is our first event. It is at Atlantic Coast High School, which is here in Jacksonville, where I am. I was able to actually tour the site a couple of weeks, actually a week ago. I was able to tour the site with the assistant principal who's going to be our administrator on site and some of the DOE Duval people who are doing things for DOE when it comes to this event. So we toured the site, looked at the classrooms. So for those of you who are doing or facilitating part of that ESE track, I'm going to kind of bleed over into that just a little bit. There was talk of potentially even there being necessarily being two rooms for each grade band. I'm trying to make sure that that does not necessarily happen. So what we did, yes, you're welcome, Sherry, because you guys are the content experts and it's kind of hard to give it off to somebody else and then hope for the best, so to speak, right? So I'm trying to make sure that we're getting them into one room. So in the north location, I looked and picked out larger rooms So even if we get 42 people, we're not splitting it into two groups. And just because the registration says, and I know we're all professionals here, so just because the registration says 42 doesn't mean 42 are going to show at the time of the event. I always go by a 10% rule is usually what I factor in. And in the summers, it's just a little bit more. I usually bump it up to 20% will not show. So we should be at a reasonable class size when it comes to those sessions. And all the classrooms are close by each other. So they're not across campus. Two of them are side by side. One of them is in the breezeway right outside those two classrooms. So those were the larger, two of them are really large spaces and one is a large space. So, and they're classroom style, which is nice. So we do have that in the North event when it comes to that. We will share numbers for kind of total numbers that we currently have registered, and then also numbers for the ESC sessions so that you have those numbers and can kind of plan for how many there are currently. And then we'll all about what the potential size could sharing with everyone rapid fire. We have been told that the registration will stay open until the day of the event. So there will, just because registration is low, right now, looking at the numbers, the percentage in the north location, they're only at 42% capacity. So that's not even half of the capacity that they could take for the North event. And I believe the South event is in a similar in the 40s somewhere. And we'll show you those numbers. So in touring the location in the North event, and Shelby will actually tour the location in the South event and make sure we have the space that we need as for those ESC tracks and for the expo. They wanted to put us in the North location. They wanted to put us in their media center. So I got to tour the media center. The media center is on the second floor. So I'm gonna let that sink in first. I see. So yeah, Sherry, there we go. That was the reaction I had. Thank you. That was the exact reaction I had, Sherry. It was, yeah, this is just not going to work for us. Like, there's not going to be enough space. So I looked at the space. The media center is a larger space, but it's a very traditional media center in the sense that it has a lot of bookshelves even in the center of the room, and it's split into two like areas that have tables, and they're very small because of that. So what to make sure that we had enough space for everybody, the best option was the cafeteria. Now, the cafeteria, I know it's not an ideal because of noise level, but their cafeteria is very state of the art, I like to say. There's a lot of table options in the cafeteria and space so that we can do the AT hands-on lab on one side of the cafeteria and the expo on the other side of the cafeteria and have enough space for people to be able to walk around. And that was the best option out of all the options. I looked at the band room. I looked at the chorus room. All of those rooms would not have worked because of just it would have made it very difficult. So the best space. It's also very acoustically. I went in there during a lunch period, and the acoustics were not horrible. So I know that that's a concern as well. So it will work for us, and it's on the first floor. So that was like the other big thing. Okay, this is on the first floor, so we can make this work. I am getting a schematic of the layout of the tables and the outlets and all of that for that for the north location when it comes to the cafeteria, so that we can make sure that everybody has the power that they need, especially the AT lab has the power that they need. And then if there's people at the expo who need power, we'll make sure that happens as well. So that's kind of logistically speaking a quick overview of our North event location. I know that Shelby will be going to the South location in June, beginning of June, I think, or the second week of June, to kind of scout out that location with the district and look at what Davenport looks like, which I've heard is a brand new school as well. So that kind of gives you the sense of what we're working with currently. Um, any questions so far? Okay, I got a couple questions. Carmelina, you go first. I saw your hand and then Candace.
I just wanted to clarify for my own
Yeah,
information. The ESE Expo will be in the cafeteria. The hands-on lab also in the cafeteria. Was there a separate space for that?
yes.
Okay.
They'll both be, but there's enough space in this cafeteria where we can be on both ends
Okay.
of the cafeteria and it still work beautifully
Okay.
from all of the spaces that we had options for.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Candace, you had your hand up too. Was that the same question? Okay. All right. Any other? Yeah, Sherry.
Hey, Henry. Good
Good morning.
morning. Morning, everyone. My other question will be, is there some way for us to ensure that we can get not cafeteria tables to in our vendor spaces and in the expo that um I'm not sure how that would work, especially also for the vendors.
I can look. I believe, if I remember correctly, and I'm going to scout it again just for that reason. I believe they're not like the cafeteria tables that have benches attached to them. They're cafeteria tables with separate seating. So you can take the seating away and it's a true table, which I think will work for us in that regard. Because I know where you're coming from, Sherry. It's those ones that have the fold down benches that look like like a picnic table, pretty much in a cafeteria. Those
Correct.
will not work for us very well. I totally gotcha. I know where you're coming from. I will definitely scout that out and ask those questions to see what they are able to do. Nice thing is that since I am in the district, I have a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to those types of things. Hopefully.
Thanks so much, Henry. Appreciate
You're
you.
welcome. Gwen, you're muted, Gwen.
Okay. Can
There
you
you
hear
go.
me? All right.
Yes,
Good
ma'am.
morning, everyone. I just wanted to let you know that as of, I guess, Monday or Tuesday, we were able to, for the North event, we were able to secure two interpreters. Apparently, and from our understanding, there is one or two consumers. We just need, I guess Casey and I just need to know where to send these interpreters, where to meet the consumer sort of directions, a
Right.
mutual meeting place. I guess that's it.
So
But
the best place is going to be in the auditorium to start the event because that's where we're going to have that opening session. That's what we did last year at the check-in booth.
mhm,
Um, we should be able to know Noelle is really good about pointing out who the person is that may need those services, those interpreting services.
mhm.
So she will help keep track of that when they check in and then can refer them to the interpreter. If they just stay up front at that registration area, we'll make sure that they meet up. Is it sign language? Do we know it, or is it
ASL, yes.
ASL? Okay, just
Okay.
making sure. I didn't know if it
Hmm.
was language or ASL. So yeah,
ASL.
we'll definitely make sure. I know we did the same thing last year. Sherry and Candace can help me out with this. We did the same thing last year, made sure
Okay.
that they connected and that they had that opportunity to communicate with each other in the way that they sign too, because I know there's nuances and they like to discuss that with them. So we'll definitely take care of that. Thank you
Okay.
for
So,
bringing that up.
okay, you're welcome. So just to be clear, just to have the interpreters go to the auditorium in the check-in booth or the
Yep,
check-in table,
yep,
and somehow we'll figure out how to get
yep.
this consumer there as well.
Yes, we will. We'll
Okay.
definitely make sure of that.
All right. Beautiful. Thank you.
You're welcome. Excellent. Any other questions so far before we start sharing? Yes, Tiffany.
I'm not sure if you've said this, so forgive me, Henry, but
Yeah.
have you released hours for the expo, like the vendor area?
We will do that right now. So that's a
Okay.
great question. But yes, I can definitely go over that. That's an excellent
Okay.
question. So it Monday morning, which is considered day zero. So they have a day zero, which is Monday. We actually open for setup at 8 o'clock. So the vendor area, the AT area will be vendor, excuse me, expo area will be opened in the morning at 8 o'clock. So there's day zero. So there's our kind of our expo schedule. This is on the Padlet, so you'll all get this information. But from 8 to 3 is setup. Then from 3 to 5 p.m. on day zero, the expo is opened for those people who are coming to register early, because there's an early registration where they can come in, get their badges, register for the event, and then not have to worry about doing that in the morning. So that's day zero. So that would be Monday. So from 3 to 5, we need to be ready to receive those people. Last year, last year was the first year we did that. Shelby, am I right on that? I think I am. Was the first time we did that. We didn't have large amounts of people, but we had a few come through because they didn't know what it was yet. I'm expecting the same. How, however, I'm going to put a however there. The cafeteria is on the way to the auditorium where they check in. So they'll probably see us. So we might get a little bit more foot traffic on that early check-in day. Okay. Day one, uh, there's that schedule for day one, which is Tuesday. So 7:30 to 8:30, and that's expo prior to opening session. We make sure that those people, if they want to come in before the opening session, then when we get to the opening session, um, everyone who is in the expo is invited to go to the opening session so that we all hear what's being said during that opening session, which is kind of a general overview. I like to call it a state of the state kind of thing when it comes to some of the educational things that the Bureau wants to share with the group and with the teachers. And they always encourage us to be there so we can all hear the same message. So that will be open from 8, or that will be from 8:30 to 10. That's that opening session. And then session one starts at 10:15. Okay. And then we've got our lunch will be open during that lunch period. So we'll make sure somehow to fit in a break so that you guys can get some lunch. You'll have to break at different times or break each other. And then we are opened until then the afternoon session will be coming, and you can kind of see the breakdown of how many rooms are coming, and we'll kind of give you some numbers. Uh, that will be session 2. And then from 4:30 to 5, will be that last little bit where districts are meeting in district teams if they want to, or people can come to the expo. And then we're done at 5 o'clock. So it's a long day, but it's a very rewarding day because we do get to talk to a lot of people. So there's day 2 kind of runs the same way. Day 3 is a little bit different. That's that Thursday, since we are out by noon on that Thursday. So you can kind of see there. There's closing remarks and next steps. So there's a general session from 11:15 to noon, and then we are done for that day. We do have people coming in through session 5. So breakdown and all of that will be right after that noon hour. And I know people want to get on the road as quickly as possible. So we'll kind of facilitate that and see how that looks as we move forward. Okay, so that's kind of our schedule. So numbers. Let me quickly pull up numbers of people so you can kind of see that. And I want to get the latest, so give me just 1 second. All right, whoops, there it is.
Henry, this should be the latest.
You have it up?
The panel.
Oh,
Yeah.
the panel. Okay. I was going to share the whole event
Oh, okay.
for the whole
Stop
event.
sharing, or you just
Yeah. Yeah, if you stop sharing and then I'll just share my screen. I was going to share for the whole event so that they can see kind of numbers when it comes to the whole event and how many people to expect to come through the expo,
Mhm.
because that's going to be a big thing. All right, so let me share this. So this was pulled on Tuesday, I believe, the 12th. Okay. At 2 o'clock-ish. So there are the numbers that we see throughout. And you can kind of I'm going to pause for a second and let you look at those and then kind of digest that information. Yes, Gwen.
So my question is, on the ESC side, do we have a breakdown of what those possible exceptionalities may be, special education versus, you know, teachers of the deaf versus teachers for students with visual impairment? Like, do we
That
have that
is
break-in?
that is an awesome question, and I'm happy you asked that. I can't answer that question, but I will find an answer to that question.
Only because the majority of the people on this meeting right now, they're all from my projects and
Right. I
go
got you.
team.
Yeah, I got you. No, no,
And
yes.
so that would definitely,
I'm
help
not
us.
I'm not exactly sure what they did on the registration to collect information, because they collect all kinds of information on those registration sheets. And I believe there was a field for like that area that you're asking about, Gwen. I just have not had a report run on that, but I will ask. And if we get that information like you're asking for, I will share it with the group, because that is valid and good information for all of us to have. So this just kind of gives you that just
Thank
kind of
you.
You're welcome. That just gives you kind of the overview of what it will be looking like. I'm giving you some of those numbers. And as you can see, our total enrollment is 46% currently in the north and 41% currently in the south. So we still have time. Yes, Candace.
Okay, couple questions. So I'm seeing ESE K through 5 is saying 2 rooms. So we will need.
It'll be one.
Okay, perfect. That was answered my first question.
It'll
Second
be
question.
one.
Thank you. What's the difference between enrolled and confirmed?
Um, Good question. My understanding is that enrolled are the people who've registered. Confirmed are the ones who've sent back an email saying that they will be there. Does that make sense? Because like they can confirm in an email. That was my understanding, but I'll get clarification and then share that as well. Great question. All right, I'm going to stop sharing. And we'll put this information up in the Padlet as well as we get updates. I'm going to try to get like an update once a week kind of thing and get it into the Padlet so you guys can see numbers, especially when it comes to the expo, so that you can plan for how many handouts do I need to make copies for, all of that. And being a project myself, we have those timelines. And I know a lot of you have timelines since it's getting closer to the end of our grant cycles. So getting those things prepped and getting enough. We want to make sure that you have that and are not told too late on that information. So I'm gonna stop sharing. All right. Now going back to the Padlet. There we go. So a couple of other things that we haven't had necessarily in the past, that event scheduler, which is that big QR code that you will see, that's actually going to get you into the attendance and registration system. And we will do a crash course with you as we get closer to the event or day of the event. We'll do a crash course and get you that, how to access that and take attendance. It's very simple. And then also be able to see who's attended during that expo time. I'm going to get you those reports like I did in the past. So that event scheduler is there for that reason. And you'll have access to that, and you'll get a code, and it will use the email that you have on file. What we're asking and what Noel is asking is that we get a list of people who are going to be at the event for your specific projects, okay, and agencies. So in this Padlet, we have space for you to add your project or agency name, and then put in who's attending from your agency. That way we can make sure that you're also registered on the Expo side and get a name tag and get access to the event scheduler. So you have all of that information during the event. So that's going to be an ask for all of you. I know some of you have already sent to us information about how many tables you will need. I have that from RMTC, FIM, oh wait, FIM. Liz, I'm sorry. I can't say it right.
You were on the right track.
You're not the only one. It's okay.
I'm sorry.
It's all right, Henry. We appreciate you.
So, and TLC, I know we've already got your tables, and I'm making sure that those are set up for the way that you have requested in that email that you sent out. So I've got that information. But for the rest of you, if I could get a count of how many tables you think you would need, if you need more than one. Otherwise, I'm going to plan on one. If you need more than one, I can make accommodations as best as I can depending on space, but just let us know, and then I will get back to you well before the event and say, okay, you've got that many tables, or I can only do one because of space, kind of thing. But we're going to make sure. Sherry, you have a question.
Hey, Henry. Yeah, I was just going to say I think that for us anyway, the number of participants will depend greatly on whether we're in one room or two. So we reserve the right to add people if there happens to be two rooms. Would that be?
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. We can add people last minute. Okay. So that's not a problem. And yeah, don't worry about that. So we'll if you need to add somebody because somebody is sick or something to that effect, those things happen. That's life. We get that. And we can do on-site changes. We'll make sure that happens. Okay. So just for those of you who don't know, I'm going to quickly, I think Shelby's got it on the screen, but I'm going to quickly run down the projects and the agencies that are going to be there just so that all of you have just an idea, because it's a lot this year. So it's, of course, Fiddler's Card, PBIS, PSRTI, Access, Hope Florida, Healthy Communities, SAS and EVOS, SALA will be there, which is our Resiliency, Project 10, FIN, FIMCVI. Liz, I got it. It's written down, but I got it. RMTC, DHH, and TLC. So there's 15. Yeah, I heard my name.
I'm sorry I was late.
I was like,
Okay, no
I
worries.
was triple booked, but I have a request.
Sure, please.
It is some of us on this call, we know who each other are, but it has come to my attention that some people on this call don't know anybody else on this call.
Oh,
Is there could we pause for a moment and have everybody
sure,
introduce themselves and their project? And
sure.
there's one other little thing. Some people on this call have never, ever, 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 ever seen the expo before and experienced it. And I think we might have some questions about it. So
Sure.
could we do that too?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sorry I was late. I was triple
No
booked and
worries.
I had to get the other meeting done so that I could come here. So I feel so rude. I'm coming in at the last minute and then I'm saying, can we do all these things? But I think we do have a art expo, which started as a little tiny baby, is growing up and becoming like a big baby, not a big baby, but a big kid. And so we've got like lots of new people and lots of new things going on. And you might have noticed
Sure.
also the Healthy Schools Summer Academy that BSIS did for 15 years, had a lot of great partners from the Department of Health and different programs that impact our students in K-12. And they were like, hey, like, could we come? Because we've got stuff that would help teachers with kids. And so I'm really excited because I think everybody in the expo is going to make new friends and new connections, just like the people in the expo. And then I can't imagine what it's going to do for our teachers and our participants. But anyway, not to be rude, but I think we should like run around and real quick and just let everybody introduce themselves and say what they do. So that,
Okay.
because when you were saying all the acronyms in my mind, I went,
Oh, yeah.
like Old McDonald had a farm. So we speak in acronyms in education.
We
So I
do.
bet there's some people that are like, I don't know what that acronym stands for. So anyway, I'm sorry.
Awesome.
I
Okay,
don't mean to
PJ,
be
I'm going to
rude.
start with you.
Oh, okay. I am PJ Duncan, and I am the Bureau Chief of Standards and Instructional Support. And way back in the day, we were talking about, well, first of all, we've been doing professional learning in BSIS since 2018, summer traveling the state. And we do a lot of instructional support in our bureau. And over the years, you just have this realization that there's just a lack of communication in our state, and lack of people knowing who people are. So a few years ago, when we were doing the work to support, we did some work with Henry, with PSRTI, with Fiddlers, with we call Shelby and Henry Shenry. They had been involved in the standards work. They had been involved in the instructional guides. And then we just were like, wait, like there could be more here. So literally just thought, hey, what if we had an expo? And the first year, Shelby and Henry did it all by themselves and they set up booths and stuff. And we had, just a few. And it was so popular. And then we were in a school. I can see the room, but I don't know where we were. And literally a teacher came in and she wept because she realized that she had had a visually impaired student and she had really struggled throughout the year. And she didn't realize that the supports existed. And she wept because she was so happy. She was like, you mean these people will come and help me? And I was like, yes, they will come and help you. They will come and help you for, with resources, instructional strategies, whatever you need. And it's just grown over the years. And I have seen so many people positively impacted. And it just goes back to those human connections, like knowing people exist. And I don't blame anybody for any of the communication issues that we have or the information issues, because life is busy and it's so hard to know all the things. So this is an opportunity for people not only to learn about your programs and your work, but to meet you, to shake your hand and say, my name's PJ, what's your name? Because the connections are just amazing. And so we have seen so much, like when you guys are having your different programs are having your annual conferences, we're seeing greater attendance than we've ever seen before in some of our projects. And I think it's because people know you exist and met you, and they connected the humanity of those relationships with you representing such powerful work. So I know we don't have everybody on this call today, but we are going to keep like doing this so that you're not, maybe not strangers when we get there in July. You're already comfortable. And some of you have been friends for 20 years, 30 years. But then some of you have never met before. And so we just want you to feel like so prepared for the summer and so at home and in our bureau. And we're so proud and thankful for each and every one of you being willing to give up that time in July. It's a lot of work, but it's so important. So I just want to say thank you. And then again, I'm sorry, Henry, that I just kind of bust up in here and say all the things, but I have a hard time getting to any place on time these days. I'm quadruple booked at 1 today, I believe it is. So I'm just doing the best I can. So I'm thankful for my friends who are so gracious with me and don't get upset with me for busting in and disrupting the party. But anyway, I just think it'd be super cool if we
we'll do that.
ourselves and knew a little bit more. And then I know I've invited a lot of people to come to this, but I have not said anything about what the heck I've invited them to. So hopefully that little bit of background gives some information that we set up this place, this center, and then every single participant has a structured, scheduled time to spend time with all of you so that they can get to know you, understand what you do, understand how you can help them with classroom instruction, or we also have school leaders, how you can help them with meeting needs in their schools. We have district leaders, help them to meet needs in their districts. So it's pretty special. And because I just got totally confused for a second, because it's going so well, this year the Bureau of School Improvement is going to have an expo too. And so I don't know where they're starting. I don't know who will be in there, but the fact of the matter is you guys are doing great work and it's being replicated. And I just think you should be so proud of yourselves for that. So anyway, having said all of that, I'm going to be quiet now and sit back and enjoy the introductions. And thanks again for y'all being here.
Thanks, PJ. All right, so I'm Henry Schmidtges. I'm with Fiddlers, which is the Florida Diagnostic Learning Resources Center. I'm one of the ACs, which is the Associate Centers. There are 18 centers across the state, for those of you who don't know. And we do all kinds of support when it comes to teacher professional development at the district level, and then also help in the child find process. So that's kind of a quick overview of Fiddlers and what we do. I'm going to kick it over to Shelby to do a quick introduction, and then we'll just kind of go around the Zoom room.
Hey everyone, I am Shelby Robertson. I am the other half of the Shenry, and I am with PSRTI. I am the Learning and Development Facilitator for Math and Science. And I have 4 friends here from my project as well. They're part of TLC. And if you all wouldn't mind introducing yourselves, and then after those 4 go, you choose a project or organization and then let them go. How's that?
Perfect. Love it.
Thank you, Shelby. I'm going to jump. My Wi-Fi is terrible. We keep struggling with Spectrum, so I apologize for not having the camera up, but I will be dumped if I turn on my camera. So thank you so much. My name is Janet Good. I'm the director of the TLC project, and I'll toss it to Tara.
Hi, everybody. I'm Tara Jeffs, and really excited to see everybody. And the fact that Technology and Learning Connections is a part of this year so that we can make sure that assistive technology and the strategies that help teachers infuse and implement technology is available. And I'm going to pass it over to Sandy. Sandy, you're muted, hon.
That's my favorite mistake. I'm Sandy Smith. I'm with the Technology and Learning Connections with Janet and Tara. I'm new this year, so I thank you for allowing us to introduce ourselves and see what everybody does. I'm getting a good idea of many of you, but not all of you. Um, I'm excited to be doing the expo with Tara and with my new colleague Cody. And I'll turn it over to Cody.
Hi, hello everybody. Good morning, afternoon. The newest member of the TLC team, Cody Takanawa, and honestly just excited to participate in my first event. So just excited to be here and learn from all you guys. I guess I'll pass it over to Christy at Access.
Cody, I think you did that because I was one of the few faces you recognized. Good morning, everybody. I'm Christy Yu. I am the project manager for the Access Project that we are all about the teaching and learning of access points. And my big takeaway from being at the Expo last year was showing all teachers the different resources that are available and how those resources can support those struggling learners, even if they aren't working on access points, and meeting and filling in some of those learning gaps. I will not be with you this year. My colleague Jeff will be with you. So I don't want you to think, well, wait a minute, that woman isn't here. So thank you. I look forward to hearing all about the great stuff that happens. And I'm going to toss it over to Carmelina.
I had a feeling. Thank you, Christy. I'm Carmelina Hollingsworth with the Resource Materials and Technology Center for the Deaf, Hard of Hearing, or RMTC DHH. And we specialize in students who are deaf, hard of hearing, providing training and support to those teachers, staffing specialists, interpreters, anybody in the districts working with them. And everyone with these pretty blue screens are my people. So I'm going to go on over to Sherry Conrad.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks, Carmelina. I'm Sherry Conrad. I'm a deaf education and training specialist with RMTC, and this will be my second year attending the expo. Learned a lot last year. Looking forward to this year. I'll pass over to Candace McIntyre. Who I think might be frozen right now, so I'll pass on to Sarah Tinty.
I'm Sarah Tinty, also with RMTC. This will be my first expo. I am the newest RMTC member. Candace looks unfrozen now, so I'm going to pass it back to Candace.
Yeah, literally froze as soon as she said, I'm going to pass it. And I was like, I knew she's going to pass it to me. Hi, friends. I'm also with RMTC DHH. I am a deaf education and training specialist. And this is also my second year. I'm excited to be here. Second year with BSIS summer thing, not with RMTC, but I don't know how long I've been with them. Long time. Okay, that's all.
Candace, who do you
Who are
want
you
to
passing it to?
Oh, right. I got to pass it to somebody. Joshina. I'm gonna pass it to you, girl.
Okay. Good morning. My name is Jashina Yahator. I'm one of the co-leads for Finn. And what we do is we support our stakeholders in serving students with disabilities across educational environments. And and we provide professional learning and technical assistance across the state. So I work statewide. I'm gonna pass it over to one of the Finn facilitators that are on the call, Dr. Langley.
Hi, I'm Dr. Langley. I am also with Finn as a facilitator, and I also do the same thing. I help support stakeholders with and serving students with disabilities in the least restrictive environment. And this will be my first year attending, so I'm very excited to be invited to the party.
Good morning, everyone. I am Melanie Ferguson. This is my first year as well, and I'm so excited to be here. I'm also with my support group and my team, supporting stakeholders and serving our students with disabilities in the least restricted environment. I'm so excited to be here today.
I'll take it next.
Have everybody else. All right, Liz.
Hi, I'm Liz Anderson. I'm the director of the Florida Instructional Materials Center for the Visually Impaired. We're a statewide project that's small but mighty. We provide Braille and large print textbooks. We have a loan library. We provide product from the American Printing House for the Blind. We are very involved with statewide assessments, and we also do professional learning and technical assistance. I'm going to pass it over to Tiffany, who is also with
Everyone,
FIMC.
I'm Tiffany Conrad. I'm the coordinator for FIMC VI. And unfortunately, Liz and I won't be attending with you all, but we look forward to hearing from our colleagues, Sherry Hart and Andrea Wallace, who many of you know and are friendly with and have attended many of these events before. So I look forward to hearing about how the event goes. It's nice to see you all today. I'll pass it. Oh, who should I pass it on to? Gwen. How about Gwen?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Gwen Black. I am state lead for deaf, hard of hearing, visual impairment, and dual sensory impairment. I also work in the areas of related services for SLP, speech language pathology, physical therapy, and occupational therapy. And the IDEA funded state projects you guys just met that will be attending this beautiful event, RMTC DHH and the FIMC. VI. I also oversee 9 other projects, which we won't go into with the acronyms. So I'll leave it at that. And let me see. Hold on, I got to scroll to find who I could knock it out to. How about Dr. Hernandez?
Gracias, Gwen. So, Ray Hernandez, and I am currently the Bureau Chief of SALA, Student Achievement Through Language Acquisition, and we're very excited to be invited this year. I think it's my experience here is going to be the first time. So thank you for that. I got very excited when we got the invitation. And here in Sala, we take care of 3 main areas. So the Title III grant that supports ELLs, definitely ESOL services and world languages. And we're huge now on sharing resources. We have now a community of practice with a lot of resources. And we always, I think it's meaningful that we attend the conference as we try to marry those the English language development standards with the content areas. So there are a lot of supports going on. And Mr. Liban?
Good morning, everyone. My name is Liban Diaz. I'm a former foreign language teacher. Currently, I work with SALA, part of the SALA team. SALA stands for Student Achievement Through Language Acquisition. So I mainly focus on world languages, professional learning. Within professional learning, we dedicate a lot of effort and a lot of work to the English language development standards. So we're currently working to improve that and then provide support to a lot of teachers and colleagues that we have in the districts. I also focus on the seal of biliteracy, and I provide translation and interpretation services to other bureaus within the Florida Department of Education. So thank you for the invitation.
All right. Thank you. And I think I see Cheyenne here in DOE.
Hi, everybody. I feel like everyone has dealt with me in some form, shape, or way at this point. But for those who don't know me, my name is Cheyenne Polgren. I'm the state lead for intellectual disabilities and traumatic brain injuries. And I've been supporting VSIS with the Summer PL Institute now for a few months. I'm excited that you guys are all joining us. Thank you so much for your patience and enthusiasm throughout this whole process. I'm going to pass it over to Katie.
Hello, my name's Katie. I am the state lead for autism spectrum disorder for the Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services. I liaison with CARD, PEPSA, FIN, and the Love Serving Autism Incorporated project. And I will pass it to Caroline.
Thank you, Katie. Good morning, everybody. My name is Caroline Gillis. I'm the state lead for students with emotional and behavioral disabilities. I am the project liaison for the IDEA-funded state SEDNet project, which serves students with or at risk of emotional and behavioral disabilities, or EBD. And I also oversee the involuntary exam, restraint, and seclusion, or IRES system for the state. And I will pass it over to, with all of us bees here. Has anyone else not gone? Want to pick up
Yeah,
the
let's
ball?
do Project 10. We'll do
Yeah, I'll
Project
take
10.
it over.
Franklin, we'll
Yeah.
go with you.
Okay, awesome. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Franklin Coker, and I'm with the Assistant Program Director with Project 10, Transition Education Network. So we're all things secondary transition planning. We are also a small but mighty team. We have 6 regional transition representatives to support the state, And one of those representatives is actually with us today, and she'll be supporting us in the north. So Nicole, please, I'm going to pass it to you.
Thanks, Franklin. Good morning, everyone. I don't know why I'm looking like the banker off of Deal or No Deal. Sometimes when I go all black, I'm in a room full of windows, so not sure what's going on there. But I'm Nicole Cleese. This will be my first time attending the expo, so very excited.
And then our last person that we have typed in the chat box, and I'm just going to read that. So it's Kat Rollerson. My apologies. I'm in a district and cannot use my camera, and it's loud in the room. So we all get that. We've all been in those situations. So we totally understand. Thank you for joining us, Kat. Many of you may not. Many of you know not being able to talk is especially painful. And then she is the state coordinator for the Florida Positive Behavioral Interventions and Supports MTSS project, and also provides technical assistance and training in Northeast Florida up to my county, actually, here through Jacksonville area. Primarily aimed at leaders supporting educators in implementing of the three-tiered behavioral MTSS, Tier 3, and districts and school level support for all students. And we hope that they can share at the expo all of those resources within the ESE strand, and then also with their partners in CARD, and then to all teachers as well. And looking at those behavior and positive behaviors in learning environments. And this is her first expo. You're welcome, Kat. Hopefully I did that as best as I could. I know you could do it better than I can. So with that all being said, we welcome all of you. We should have done that at the very, very beginning, but it's always nice to get into it and then also be able to do this. And I'm going to kick it over to Shelby to make sure that we have talked about everything we needed to talk about, because I know we're kind of slowly running out of our time together this morning since we only scheduled an hour, and I want to respect everyone's time.
Sure. I just want to share a couple of these panels before letting you know what other ones are coming. So we do ask that you go in. We'll send out an email later today that has this Padlet in it, but you will be able to put in here who is going to represent your project at each of the locations. There's the address for those locations, as well as the hotels that were suggested to us that are close, and they're home twos, which is really nice because they have the full kitchen in them. That way you can bring your food and be all set up for our 4 nights together, or 3 nights, however you're doing your traveling. We'll keep this updated, the current ESC registration. I also have panels that breaks it down by session. So I'll put those on there later today too. But those are going to be so you can see how many people, as Henry was talking about earlier, are actually going to be flowing through during each session. Things to remember, these are just some things. And if you think of additional things that you think, oh, this is just good for all, then please add it to this. This is our Padlet, so feel free to type into any of the panels here or create your own. And then there's some how many tables, which Henry was talking about earlier. So we have what the Tech Expo had requested, and I just put in there for our project. If you were not with us last year, I'm going to share with you that we do typically have a room aside, but it's close to the expo, that we have some Keurigs set up, and we also have some snacks in there. If you would like to bring snacks as well, we just ask you if you could add to this, just so we kind of know who's bringing what. So we don't have, like 8 boxes of granola bars. And then here at the end of each session, during the closing session, we do giveaway. So we do like a little basket from the expo projects organizations, that if you wanted to bring something to add to that gift basket, please just add it here so that we kind of know what size gift basket to actually purchase. And then, as Henry said, here's your event schedule, and you will be using that if you are presenting in your sessions to scan folks in and out of your sessions, because that is how they get credit for the time that they are with us at the event. as well as Henry is likely going to be the only person scanning folks in and out of the expo, but you can always go there and kind of see our numbers. And that is something at the very end of the events we will get a report for. So when we're doing our PTS, like we know we all have to do, we have those numbers of how many.
As Janet, there you go, Shelby. You were frozen.
Oh, good. I was talking to myself, having a lovely conversation. So what did you not hear?
You said Henry, and that's where it kind of stopped.
Well, I probably said Henry multiple times, so.
Oh, okay.
Which panel did I stop talking on?
You stopped about event scheduler, and no, you actually talked about. You also talked about the snacks and the baskets.
Okay, so
that's
basically
giveaway
it.
basket. Yep.
Yeah, that's basically it. I think that where I probably ended then was Henry will likely be our point person to be scanning folks in and out with a gun. At the not that kind of gun, Henry, stop. With a scanner. Instead of phones, because you can scan folks in and out during your sessions if you're presenting with your phone. Noelle is fantastic, and she's created this whole system that we can utilize. But that way, at the end of the events, we'll get a report so that we can turn that in with PTS to how many folks came through the expo and we spoke with. There's a lot going on in the chat.
Yes, so I added our emails, Shelby, and my email into the chat. So as you guys have questions, you can definitely email. I suggest emailing both of us so that we make sure that one of us will answer, or we'll kind of get together collectively and answer your questions. We want to make sure that we're as responsive as possible. I also got a request to take pictures of the tables in the North event, and I definitely do not have a problem doing that. I can run by the school and take care of that, and then also add that to the Padlet so that you guys can see what the space potentially looks like and kind of plan for what needs to be planned for. Those are easy requests. So we'll definitely make sure that those things happen.
And that is a panel that we plan to kind of put up a little schematic of what the area looks like so we know going in who, and we're talking about creating like a little package, right? So that folks have a little folder of information for each of your tables. And that way you'll also know, like, just as if we were going into when we go to Family Cafe and set up, you're going to be at table number 1, and here's your packet of all the information you'll need to be successful. And I've asked Tara to join me if possible when I get all the details for the South event so that she can really be helping me kind of for the expo get a gauge on the size we're looking for and the tables and all that. So
awesome. All right. So that's, and I know we're at like 1 minute until our planned time. And if you have questions, Shelby and I will stick around. So I want to value everybody's time. If you have to get off, we totally understand. That was the information that we wanted to share with you this morning. We'll be doing the same thing again this afternoon for those projects and people that couldn't attend this morning. So we'll be doing this. We'll be sharing the same exact information. You do not need to attend that unless you really, really want to. But that we just wanted to make 2 time slots available because we know this was kind of short notice. But we wanted to get the information out to all of you as quickly as possible. So, and not hold on to information for too long. So we'll try to give you those updates. Yes.
One last thing, when we share the Padlet with you all later, the hotels, if I did not send it out, I can't remember if I sent this out earlier. There's a hotel block. There's a code, just so you can get that discounted price. And please, if you're going to book in that hotel, do it as soon as possible because it's going to start filling up with the participants. That area, especially the South.
And if you can't find a space in Jacksonville, I can offer my backyard if you want to camp. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. There is a nice pool, so it has a view. It would have a view. Anyway, all joking aside, we'll make sure that there's plenty of hotels in Jacksonville, and if you can't find one, and you want to know, if I can definitely let you know that as well.
Thanks, y'all, for joining us. We're going to send out the recording too.
Yep.
Have a great day.
Have a great day, and we'll stick around just in case anyone has any questions.